Hello, everybody. This is CB with your business reality, and I'm truly happy to be here on a Monday, starting the week very, very strong. And before we get started, I have some fantastic news. We are being featured in Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, and other major platforms. So if you put in your business reality with CB, you will see us. So, in case you're not watching today, just letting you know that we are featured in Buzzsprouts as well. So if you want to check it out, it is on my website. And today I'm going to have a fantastic guest here. And let's get started, everybody. So a lot of times we are so scared to go to the dentist, but not with this dentist. Let me tell you a little bit about him. Dr. Chan is a dentist with special emphasis in biocompatible, biological, green, natural, and holistic dentistry. He has expertise in all major aspects of dentistry with over 30 years of experience. And let me tell you that Dr. Chan is the president and the doctor of Smile Haven Dental Center here in San Diego, California. And he's also my doctor as well. So, welcome, Dr. Chan. How are you?
Oh, hello. How are you?
Good.
Good to
Thank you
be
so
here.
much. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for joining me today because I think that you have a lot to offer, and I'm so excited about the topics that we're going to be talking today because there's a lot of information out in the world, but not enough information for the holistic dentistry. So tell us a little bit more about what does holistic dentistry mean?
Well, holistic dentistry is dentistry looking at the body as a whole. Okay, but first of all, most holistic dentists usually would start out with using only biocompatible materials. Eh, there's no such thing as a completely non-toxic material, but there are highly reactive and least reactive material that people uh, will have on their bodies. So we use those materials instead. That way, there's for people who are very sensitive to certain things, this affects them a lot. So the least the toxic load you have in your body, the better off you are. So that's why we used biocompatible materials first and foremost. And then we, of course, make the connection between the mouth and the body. So dentistry, holistic dentistry is not just about teeth and gums. It has a lot to do with the rest of the body, following the acupuncture meridians. Certain teeth are connected to certain parts of the body, which is why we know that 80% at least of anything that ails the body all originate from the mouth, whether it's from disease, inflammation, infection, or toxic materials.
Absolutely. And I think one of the things is that a lot of people are like really scared to go to the dentist for numerous reasons, right? But I gotta
Mhm.
say though, when I love going to your practice, your staff is amazing. And the one thing that I really, really liked about you was that you taught me about the importance of the metals in my mouth, right? So I have a crown and I have some metals in there. And
Mhm.
you were like the only dentist, and I've been to many, many different dentists throughout my life, that you genuinely went in there and educating me and explained to me why these metals can over long term affect me in my health. Can you elaborate a little bit more of what you
Yes,
do there?
yes. Galvanism is the reaction. It's a chemical reaction that happens in the mouth, or any metals that, two unlike metals that touches each other, you're going to have that electrical shock. So the brain operates only on 7 to 9 nanoamps, which is about 1,000 times weaker than the current resulting from the non-precious metals that you have in your mouth. So to the brain, it is the difference between touching a 9-volt battery and sticking your finger in a light socket. So since that teeth are less than 2 inches from the brain, It is a concern that adding this much excess electrical activity has a potential of creating misdirected impulses in the brain. So a lot of people have, migraine headaches that are unexplained. They can have it checked and scanned. They couldn't find anything there because it is about electrical impulse. That's a fact. That's a lot of electricity going on close to your brain, and also when you have metals in your mouth, they've come to find out now too that it also conducts a lot of this uh, EMF that's out there, the electromagnetic fields. So Wi-Fi, things like that. It amplifies it by about as much as 700 times. So that's a load, a lot of electrical, thing that would affect your brain impulse. So that's
So
why it's not good to have it in your mouth.
no, so how is it that you operate? You don't use metals, but what do you substitute it with if somebody were to need a crown?
Well, when we do crowns, we find that the ceramic uh, zirconium is the only thing that we use around here now, because it's zirconia is usually originally a metal, but they've removed the metal part of it and left the ceramic part, and it's very strong and very pleasant to look at because they can follow the shade of your teeth, so they look better and they're stronger. And that's the only thing that we use now. We don't do any other metals in the mouth at all.
Wow, that's amazing. And I mean, you've been successful with a lot of the techniques that you use as well, and so
Hmm.
thank you for that, because you are showing us a different way of still being able to be treated, but also stay somewhat of a healthy environment as well, which is very important. So what are stuff that people can do on their own before they come to you to just help maintain their teeth in the most natural possible way that they can?
Yes, in our society, yeah, at least in the States, because of the type of food that we're used to, a lot of
Yeah.
starch and sugar, it is important that we keep a good microbiome in your mouth. We're so used to nuking our mouth with mouthwashes, fluoride, sugar alcohol, even essential oils. Uh, Most essential oils not supposed to kill good bacteria, but they still do when they get really strong, because there's too much of it. So you got to we have to treat our mouth just like we treat our gut, your stomach, because the first stage of digestion is in your mouth. That's why we chew our food so that we can incorporate our saliva and all the enzymes that we have into the food before it goes down to your stomach for digestion. So without those, you won't be digesting your food properly, and you're not going to be absorbing all the good stuff. So keeping the microbiome balanced, which means you have all the good bacteria. There's always going to be a percentage of bad bacteria that's in there, but it will be kept in check, with the good bacteria. So once it's balanced, you're not going to have the bad breath, the gum disease, the decay. It's just like any other uh, uh, some tribes out in Africa, they found that didn't have any of this dental problems because of the balanced diet that they have.
Okay. And I'm just interested in this is just for my own fact, the
Uh-huh.
percentage of what it would be for genetics. I'll give you an example. My husband is he doesn't have the best genetic teeth that I got very lucky with. So I'm wondering, like, if the future, like, if we were to have kids, genetically, how much of an impact would it be to like have decent teeth for say versus taking care of it? Like, what is the difference? Like, how much of an effect can it make?
Well, just like cancer, they say that it's only 15% genetic, but the rest is what you eat and your lifestyle and environment. So the same thing goes with anything that goes bad in your mouth. You always have to blame and point it to nutrition first and see what you're eating. And then, because if you're not eating right, you're not getting the right amount of minerals and vitamins, uh, it's not going to go to your teeth, because
Right.
there is a flow of fluids that goes into the teeth to help the teeth prevent it from the decay. Because in the mouth, in order to have cavities, there are three things that needs to happen. First, the bacteria that is required to eat through your teeth. The uh, you call this the carbohydrates that will cause the mouth to be acidic. And finally, it's the susceptibility of the tooth. If the tooth doesn't have the flow of fluids to the surface that brings all the minerals that you eat, then it's not susceptible. But if it doesn't bring all the minerals to the surface of the teeth, then the tooth becomes susceptible. And when the acid weakens it, then the bacteria goes in, nothing's stopping it. So that's why sometimes you see people with dirty mouths, but they don't have any cavities because they eat right, you know. So that's the one thing. Genetics is one thing, but doesn't mean that you're stuck with it. You can still improve and not have the same problems your parents had.
Okay. Oh, that's wonderful to know that there's still improvements, and it all
Hmm.
comes with our diet, right? And what we put in our mouth at the end of the day. And
Right.
I just have one more curiosity, Dr. Chan, because I'm just curious to know, why is it that you went into holistic medicine rather than Western medicine?
Well, I do. I come from the same science. I started out Western. Okay, went to the same school as my colleagues and everything. For 24 years, I did everything that Western medicine taught me to do. But I've always wondered why my patients are chronically ill, and I've always questioned myself if I have become, was I really an effective doctor or what? Because
Mhm.
they are ill, and so for some reason, somehow, I just know it has something to do with what I'm doing. And when I open my mind and open my horizons to the Eastern medicine and to biological dentistry, I found out that connection between the mouth and the body, and everything you put in your mouth will end up in your body because of bloodstream, and lymphatic systems and all that. So it affects it. So certain things I don't do anymore because it is very toxic. So I realize I have to change the way I practice dentistry, going into functional dentistry, which means we get to find the root cause of the problem. We don't just fill
Mhm.
teeth.
Yeah.
We want to know why you ended up with a cavity in the first place. So that's the only way to correct things is to get to the source, uh, what the problem really is. And so now that I know both sides, there's advantage to that. So I know exactly what they're doing, and every time they try to have any discussion, it's mainly, well, you have to look at the science on the eastern side, which is 5,000 years compared to 250 years of Western medicine. So they need to know both sides in order to have a discussion. In fact, if they've already know both sides, there won't be any discussion because we'll be in the same page. So I just wish that most of my colleagues would look past what is given to them by the ADA and the FDA or the CDC, because these are all controlled, and there's a lot more to medicine than just Western medicine.
And I love that you just said that. Is I hope that my colleagues get past the Western
Yeah,
side, right?
yeah,
Because a lot of times we, as professionals, we learn something and we're like, that's it, I know everything. But in reality, there's more to life, right? And so we
right, right.
actually had a comment from Jolanda, that she's in Africa right now. She says, very
Hmm.
interesting topic. And she even has a question. What effect does tooth extraction have as we age?
Well, Teeth are in your mouth for a reason. It's to preserve the bone that you have on your jaw, other aside from what you use it for chewing. Uh, so if you start losing teeth, then you're going to lose integrity of your jaw, and eventually you won't be able to chew your food properly. Which is why replacing it with some kind of prosthesis like implants or dentures would be the thing to do. Um, if you take care of your teeth, which is what we're encouraging people, you can get old, you know, all the way to. I have a patient who's 103 years old, still has all his teeth. So, yeah, it's not that he was lucky, but he really did work hard on it. Just like people who are healthy, there's a lot of work behind all that. It's not just luck. But it costs a lot of money to stay healthy too. But it costs more to be sick. So that's a choice we have to make.
Absolutely. And then she just messaged one more thing. She said, I see most of the doctors are moving more to healing the root cause for any pain rather than only looking on the surface. I think the world is moving to that now. Thanks, doctor. And she's from South Africa, so she's seeing a different
Yes,
side than what
yes.
she's in the United States. So
I
it's
think
nice to see that.
Yeah, I think the younger generation are seeing it a lot better because they've seen their grandparents going through traditional medicine, and they don't want to be that way, just taking, medication after medication until they die. They don't want to be that way. So the younger generation are the ones who actually are heavily into oils, for instance, like, essential oils or all kinds of things that they look into. Um, they're into organic foods now. That's really good. It's going headed towards the right direction.
Absolutely, and I can say that I'm one of those younger generations, and I grew
Right.
up with my mom being super healthy and showing us the way. So I got very lucky in that sense. But I didn't grow up with a lot of medicine. Like if you have a headache, you don't take painkillers right away unless it's like really really bad. It's like
Right.
last resort kind of thing. And so I
Hmm.
grew up with that mentality, and I've for sure I'm going to be following that as well when I have children. But
Right.
Dr. Jan, I have one more question for you.
Sure.
From a marketing point of view, because I'm marketing,
Hmm.
what is the hardest part of marketing your industry? Because I generally promote you a lot here
Thank
in
you. Thank you.
and because your practice, I love going into everything you do. Plus, Carol Ann has an amazing spa in holistic area as well, so it's beautiful to see that. But
Hmm.
one of the things that really for me was amazing is just like the products, the non-toxic products, and people in our community are like, "What do you mean you go to a holistic doc? Like, what does he do different? Like, what is it? Like, what is he? Like, what does he do?" So, in my opinion, there's not enough marketing for your industry. So, what are you seeing from your end of why it's not really being known as much?
Yeah, so people just need to have the understanding that holistic dentistry is not about me treating people with herbs. You know, it's still it's still traditional dentistry. We still do the crown and bridges and all that. It's just a choice of material that we use that is more biocompatible. That's not as toxic as the ones that they're using. And certain procedures like root canals and stuff like that, we don't do. We don't do mercury fillings. We don't do any of that stuff or fluoride. We don't do fluoride either because those are really toxic. Now, contrary to what you hear from the marketing out there, that's the problem. Is we just don't have enough backing from the government because all the networks are owned by big pharma and they have their own products and basically, so the marketing is difficult when I think it all comes down to just educating people, giving them an option, giving them different perspective. That's why we encourage people to come to our office and get a different perspective for free because we know they already have a dentist, but we just want them to know what they have in their mouth that they may not want to have in there.
Mhm.
Uh, so once they get educated, It says, "Oh my God, I don't really want this stuff in my mouth," and that's probably why I'm this, I'm that, I'm having this problem, this issue, because it's something that they don't look at as a problem. It is a problem, and this generation now is in an environment that's different from their grandparents, environment.
Mhm.
We have just imagine, having a goldfish in a bowl and you never change the water. That's the kind of environment we have right now. It's just so toxic, extremely. So our job is to constantly uh, select the type of food, the environment that we're in, to minimize and mitigate, the effects of toxins. Disease is all about toxic overload. So if you have less toxins, then your body will thrive a lot better. So, but it's a constant battle. We have to constantly detox because we are in an environment full of toxins.
Yeah, and then if the more we educate ourselves, the more we learn our options, the more that we are able to save generations
Yeah.
to come, right, and educate them along the way as well, so that we don't keep having the same issues. And it's interesting how health has become a business. At least here in the United States, it's a
Yes.
big business money, and so unfortunately that plays a big barrier. But the more that we can do as a community to educate ourselves and make the changes ourselves, the more that we can make a change towards what we want that change to be, right? And
Mhm,
so
mhm.
thank you. I want to thank you, Dr. Chan, for being here because you just gave us so much valuable information, and I want to tell everybody where they can find you. So here's Dr. Chan's
Thank
website,
you.
www.smilehavendentalcenter.com. That's his website. But if you want to message him on Instagram or find him, here is his Instagram as well. And so, any
Mhm.
last tips that you want to give the audience, Dr. Chan, before we head out?
Well, uh, always keep an open mind that, a lot of times when you have issues in your health and you seem to hit a brick wall, give dentistry a chance, holistic dentist a chance to look at it and to see if there's a connection between, if it's coming from your mouth, it's coming from your mouth, and the source needs to be stopped. And so until you've done that, you'll always be wondering why your disease or your sickness doesn't go away or you get better. So there is a lot of connection there. So just keep that in mind. You see, because people who are sick and you have friends or loved ones, but you can come to our office and we'll be happy to take a look at it and make sure that we do our best to see if there's any connection or not. At least you got that squared away.
Absolutely. And believe me when I tell you that they're the nicest people and they will definitely take
Oh,
care of
thank you.
you. I love going. I have an appointment this month. I
Oh,
will be
good.
there.
All
And
right.
I just want to say you definitely made an impression on Jalan Mabutu because you just said, wow, this is the first time I'm hearing about holistic dentistry. This show has been really educational for me. Thank you. And you know what, Dr. Tiernan? We did something good today by just
Good. Thank you.
educating Yolanda
Thanks
here.
for the opportunity.
Absolutely. And I just want to say anybody else that may have any questions, go ahead and put in the message. I will be more than happy to forward to Dr. Chand and his wife, Caroline, who is definitely an amazing person. And
Thank
I
you.
want to thank you all for being here today. And just saying that it's not about everybody else taking care of us. It's about ourselves taking care of our needs, right? We have to make the action plan and we have to go do it. And we have to find the resources and we have to go find the right people. But remember that you're not alone. We're here to help and support you in any way that you can. Dr. Chan here has resources. I have resources. We're a community. We love San Diego, sunny San Diego, but anybody around the world, we're here to support and help you and guide you in any way that we can. And so I'll see you all next week. With our next interviewer, which is going to be Dean Fox, I believe. I don't have my notes with me, but I will see you all next week. And remember that take action, because that depends from your future, from your health, and from your children's future as well. God bless. Thank you, Dr. Chan, for being
Thank
here.
you. Thanks, Crystal.
And have a wonderful day, everybody. Take care.